So today, in case you can't see, we are joined by Brittany, one of our official storytellers, or formerly official storytellers for the Pandemonium Institute. Been to a lot of conventions, introduced the game to a lot of people, Britt.
Yeah.
Any favorite memories?
All of them?
Oh, you remember them all? That's incredible.
No, I do not remember them all, and I feel terrible for it all the time. It's a strange sensation when somebody comes up to you and vividly remembers you, but you do not remember them at all. I feel very bad when that happens.
It's bad enough right now trying to remember people that played in New York from pre-COVID, let alone...
Yeah, a convention from 3 years ago.
That's right, let alone a convention from 3 years ago. It's like, yeah, of course I remember you. You were the demon, right? No, I was the mayor. Right. Good game, that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, let's do this. Which character would you like to start with, Britt? Or Ty, would you like to do like something? Anything, Ty? God.
Let's explain. Yeah, what a rude person I am, letting y'all speak amongst each other. The premise of today's episode is the continuing of us putting things in the S tier. We have a few townsfolk slots available, and Britt is going to help us place them in our script, Creme De La Creme, to explain it to Brittany, because, she might want to know what we're doing. We have these have already been ranked in the A tier, and ostensibly she is going to say, yep, it's A tier, all right, and it's not going in an S. Or she's going to say, nope, I'm bumping it to S, so it's going to make this script. Or she can say, it's a B, which will have no material effect, but is neat to do. So is this S, is this A, an S, or a B? That's the gimmick. Do we want to do them alphabetical?
That's the way I'm adding to the script, so please do.
Well, then I can't start with anything other than the artist.
Maybe in trouble depending on how you rank the artist at some point during this, but for now, Tyler is just going to talk about which roles you're going to get the chance to pick from.
The artist, the courtier, the dreamer. I'm having to alphabetize these in my head because they're not in alphabetical order.
Yeah, I just realized that as well. I thought they were. I was like, wait a second, he skipped one. Like, no, he didn't. He alphabetized them.
The grandmama, the innkeeper, the mayor, the monk, the oracle, the snake charmer, and the virgin. And you may decide which 6 make the cut.
Let's start with the dreamer, because I know for sure that 100% that goes up there. And then I'll say I'm disappointed the chambermaid's not on here, because that would be my second S tier townfolk.
Well, that's okay. You're allowed to be wrong, but it's fine. You can definitely say that the chambermaid.
Chambermaid and dreamer are like top 2 tier for me. The dreamer is really powerful. I've seen so many games won because of the dreamer for both sides. I once dreamed a mephit and then told them to give me their word.
The evil dreamer persists, right?
Yeah, I turned evil and then I dreamed people and people believed I was a dreamer. It was a great game. Yeah, so dreamer was the easiest choice out of this list.
Out of interest, Britt, just talk about the dreamer. Do you not find this a difficult bluff for evil unless you happen to have been the dreamer who was turned evil by the mephit?
It is a difficult bluff for evil if you are trying to give out accurate information, unless your team is communicating really, really well. But it's a very easy bluff for you to pretend to be poisoned or drunk. And for the first couple days as a minion, it's a good bluff because you can get a couple people killed for it before you end up dead yourself. So I don't think it's too terribly hard for evil to bluff as a dreamer. It's harder if they want to actually give out accurate information, which I feel as evil, you probably shouldn't be giving out accurate information. You should be causing chaos.
It's a good point. If you can happen to get a couple taken out with you, it's probably not a bad thing, right?
Yeah, it's pretty easy to get 2 or 3 kills off. And most of the time, people share their roles pretty quickly. So if you are communicating with your team well enough, you should be able to know a couple people to check. It gets iffy when people start asking you to check people, because then they're like, nobody knows that role but me, and then you get caught. But you have a few days to get away with it. I think my next one would be innkeeper.
That's going up, yeah?
Yes.
So you'll have Adam's approval on this one, which is good.
Nice.
Everybody wants Adam's approval, except his children that he didn't have because he doesn't believe in them.
Children don't exist. Change my mind.
Your children are Tinkerbell.
I think that the innkeeper is especially effective here because of the instance in which a Poe might be in play. But tell us more about why you think the innkeeper made your S tier list, Britt.
I like roles that do multiple things, and the innkeeper is one of those roles that does multiple things. It does the protecting, it does the poisoning, It also makes it more challenging for both teams. So, like, good has to work around the innkeeper's information and try and figure out where the drunk was. And then, like, if you happen to drunk a minion, then that helps the good team, makes it a little harder for evil. And then it's a good role to bluff as, because you can just say, oh, well, the person I protected didn't die, but your information is probably drunk. So it's a very versatile role that does many different things in the circle as compared to being just a one thing.
I feel like Brittany, we might be on the same page as that one.
Yeah.
So that's the truth. I love the innkeeper because it drunks people. I love the sailor for the same reason. I don't know what it is about the thematics of it as well that appeals to me, sets my neurons a tingle.
It's nice to have rules that make it slightly more challenging for the good team with a benefit, because otherwise it'd just be too easy, right?
I think these become less popular for players because it comes down to storyteller choice about who's drunk and who's not. And that tends to be less popular. But I think it's actually thematically, it's a neater role. And I think that cost benefit analysis, like the good team is getting something, the good team is losing something, is always neat. And there's ambiguity there. I think there's a lot of fun in that ambiguity. If you let it happen to you, if you let the ambiguity rush over you and cleanse your soul, like the rivers of Zion, that's a thing, right? Then you'll be a better person for it. Go to the inn, take a drink.
The intent of Clocktower is to have the storyteller have say and decision.
Mm-hmm.
So giving choices to the storyteller kind of takes it and makes it a little more of a social game with mechanical information rather just a mechanical game.
Sure.
That is my preferred play style. I like to stare people in the face and say, "Are you evil?" and watch them flinch.
If you don't want me to have an opinion, go play werewolf.
Yeah, exactly. My next one I think would be the Virgin, just because it's hard confirmation. It's potential for hard confirmation. Also, it's a lot of fun to watch players, new and experienced, joke about being virgins. It's got good comical value.
Oh dear. Hayley's agreeing with you in chat as well so far, especially as you've now just put a trouble brewing character into the S tier. I think you've just won a fan for life.
Trouble Brewing is such a good script. Such a good script.
It's funny that you put the Virgin up there to me, like, because there seems to be a lot of, when I'm watching people build custom scripts these days, it feels like they're always reluctant to put something in that can be hard confirmed.
But I think having a hard confirmed good player changes the dynamic of the game quite a bit. And I think that's a very fun way to play and watch how players, from a storyteller's perspective, watch how players interact with that. Because I've seen games at conventions where people straight line up to tell the Virgin everything, and then they still lose because the Virgin gets tricked by an evil player.
That was my only issue with the Virgin, really. Like the hard confirmation, I'm less like bothered by nowadays than I used to be. It's more about the bottleneck of information. Like everything ends up getting funneled through this one person, and it doesn't have to be that way. And I push against it if I'm a player in those games. As a storyteller, I just let players play how they want to play for the most part. But as a player, I go, hey guys, let's remember that's a lot to put on one person. You know, we should all be helping.
I'm in the same boat. I actively push against it as far as like, okay, you can kill me if you think I'm evil, but I'm not telling the Virgin. I don't know who the Virgin's trusting.
Yeah, exactly.
And if they've already been pocketed because it's day 3, we're doomed.
The hidden Virgin on day 3 is so much better than day 1 confirmation. We'll see how that bears. We'll have to run the numbers on that. Any more thoughts on the Virgin?
The thought of an evil Virgin is kind of fun.
If we'd have moved the barber along, because we ended up leaving the barber off, that was your best shot for the evil Virgin. But I think the evil Virgin is always a fun little gimmick too.
I've made a list of how I would rank these just if I went best to worst. Snake Charmer is kind of at the bottom.
No.
It's not because I don't love the Snake Charmer. I'm thinking it as from the perspective of a storyteller, a lot of players don't like the Snake Charmer. Although it can dramatically change a game, oftentimes it dramatically changes a game in a way that makes some people not feel good. But there's no way I don't let it become S tier, so it's got to get moved up.
All right. After all that,
personal bias has won out.
You know you're playing the script, right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
All right.
The Snake Charmer, I think, to me, can be played into 2 different ways. It can be played if you're a good player and you want to stay good, using it as an information role to clear people of being the demon. The correct way to play it is to try to turn evil at all times. So that's the way I play it. And when you play it that way, it's a little more fun. You try and sow some chaos into town, but leave enough room for you to be able to come back if you end up staying good. But just enough to also get you trusted that if you come evil, nobody will suspect you. So I really enjoy the Snake Charmer and what it can bring to a game. But I know a lot of people don't. Yeah, it has to be S tier.
I am completely okay with this. I've been saying for a while to the stream group that runs the TPI stream, as well as anyone that will let me talk. The Snake Charmer The angst against the snake charmer is incorrect. You need to stop being mad. Even like a snake charmer day one turn, like they're like, oh, it ruins the game. I'm like, it doesn't ruin the game. It doesn't ruin the game. There is still such a world out there that can be created to get them out of it. I don't know why people in the opinion, I mean, don't get me wrong, the minions now don't know who the demon is. The minions now are probably going to be outed by the demon. The former demon is now the snake charmer, but I don't think that ruins the game. I think it creates a different environment for you to play with and a different sandbox for that snake charmer to work in, or that snake charmer that is now the demon to work in. I'm looking forward to, Brittany, the day you pick out the snake charmer on stream and day one snake charm, and let's see how you do.
That would be beautiful.
And hopefully you can help change some opinions with me.
If I'm ever snake charmed, I try not to out my former evil team, because the person who is now the demon is not going to say they're the demon. So at that moment, I am a good drunk snake charmer who knows that the demon has changed. My evil team does not. So that gives me a huge advantage to help my team. And so I like to play with that.
One of my favorite things to do in that scenario is especially if I've got a pit ag on the script, is to ask them to change me to a different demon. They don't now know I'm a good player.
That's great. My next one would be grandmother, only because I like the interactions with a drunk or poisoned grandma. And I like the fact that the grandma gives the storyteller a chance to help out somebody else. On this script that we're currently making, I'm looking at, it's less viable, but like I like the grandma with a raven keeper, right? You show the grandma the raven keeper, the grandma can help the raven keeper out after getting themselves killed, of course, so that they don't have 2 deaths. Things like that. So I like the grandma's possibility.
If you were looking at this script and you said, what would I want to pair up this grandmama with, what would you think would be the best pairing? What could give that role a little bit of extra oomph?
Don't pick snake charmer.
Grandma doesn't have to be townsfolk, right?
No, grandmama could be an outsider.
I might team it up with like a saint or something, or an outsider. Not the goon, obviously. Oh, you wouldn't do it with the klutz either, because then the klutz could just choose the grandma if they're alive. Yeah, I would say probably the saint if a saint's in play, or maybe a slayer.
How about a drunk grandmother being told that another player is the drunk?
That would be great. That would be great.
I'm down for that with this script. That's what I'm looking at now.
And not just any other player is the drunk, but it'd have to be a powerful player as the drunk, like the dreamer. Yeah, that way nobody believes any information that's given. What would be even better if there was a poisoner on the script and the poisoner poisoned the grandma, and then you did that, because that'd be a real boost to the evil team.
Way to go, Ed.
He just ruined everything. I think I would put mayor and courtier down, mostly because mayor is fun, but often unsatisfying, unless you happen to get a mayor win, and then it's just amazing. And then courtier, because as somebody who likes to play for evil, it just feels bad. I don't like being poisoned for many days.
So I want to have a little bit of philosophical talk about that. You're okay with the snake charmer basically making a game so tilted to where the minions are outed, they're ineffective, they can't do anything, and it's basically just like a whack-a-mole to see who the new demon is.
Mm-hmm.
But the courtier making, being like, I think this is in play and I want to eliminate it. That is less satisfying to you?
Yeah. So the difference is Snake Charmer makes the game exciting. Something big has happened, and if it comes out, it completely changes everything, and everybody gets to get involved, whether it's good or bad for you. The courtier is kind of boring. It poisons something, and it can then, like, if they poison the right demon, the game then gets dragged on. And games that go too long tend to not have good, happy endings. They get boring, or just people get too invested and then they end poorly. And then the courtier just poisons one player. So that one player is then poisoned for several days and doesn't get to do anything. So for that one player, it feels bad. As compared to the snake charmer does something that the whole group gets to get involved in.
I disagree a little bit on the courtier, but your ruling stands. And I think the mayor win is obviously very popular for some people. People enjoy it a lot. And I think it has some good utility and can be a good bluff for the evil team if they want to go without an execution on the final day. Some of these can be tough to bluff as. What's your last S tier role?
Monk, Oracle, and Gossip are the 3 left, right?
Artist, Monk, Oracle, Gossip.
Don't you dare, Brittany.
You know what she's going to pick.
I did move Snake Charmer up 3 spaces. Gossip is a strong role. However, as a storyteller, I disappointingly see people not actively trying to kill people with it, and that makes me sad. Especially since it's on Bad Moon Rising most of the time, and that script's all about trying to kill people. Gossip is a great role if used to actively try and kill people all the time. And so I don't think most players like to do that, so I don't think it's gossip. If more people were willing to kill each other with it, then I'd be a little bit more inclined to raise it up. But at the moment, I think it should go down.
Is this SOB an S or a B? She says it's a B.
I guess, is there an option to leave them in the current tier?
Totally.
Yeah,
Totally.
you can leave them all in it. You can leave them all in it.
We should leave gossip in A then. Okay, so artist, monk, and oracle. Monk is a good role. It's got a lot of protection. It doesn't often hit unless the good team's communicating really well, or the monk is communicating really well with people. It is a one-trick pony, though, because it only does the one thing, which is protect. It's not as good as the innkeeper. So I'm going to say that one can stay where it is. And then we have the oracle and the artist.
I can already see where this is going.
The artist has so much potential, but is often just used to ask basic questions like, am I the artist, and things like that. And I'm just thinking mostly of these on the scripts that they're native to. And the oracle is really powerful in a game where you can have a lot of evil. Oh, I made the mistake of looking at the script as I said that. This script could benefit from an oracle.
Maybe looking at the script, the oracle might have a little bit more utility in this particular game, because this script has the goon and the fangu.
Mm-hmm. And the Scarlet Woman.
And the Scarlet Woman and the imp.
And the imp. So,
and the recluse.
Yeah, I think on this script that it is an easy choice that oracle belongs and not the artist. It is still a tough question, though, because they both only do the one thing. The oracle can get really powerful information, but doesn't give much player agency, as the artist gives a lot of player agency, but is often kind of group pressured into what kind of question they ask. And I tend to prefer roles that have a little bit more character or player agency.
I mean, let's be clear, Britt. If I'm swaying your opinion in any way, shape, or form because I keep giving you stick about the artist, you are welcome to do whatever you want. And if anything, if anything, I was thinking to myself, me giving Brittany crap about the artist makes it more likely Britt's going to pick the artist.
I am going with oracle because this script I think needs the oracle. The empath could only detect living players. The fortune teller only finds demons. I think that the oracle will be a powerful ally in identifying a fangu. And as a storyteller, that is a fair thing for town to have, as compared to me as a player wanting it to just all be about evil. The artist is good, though, but I often feel like the artist questions are boring despite their potential. The artist, monk, and oracle were the three that I had the hardest time placing. But after looking at the script, I've decided it's oracle. Oracle wins.
I got to say, I think you're right. From the reasons you listed about the fact of like we're going to have swaps, we're going to have changes. I think it makes a lot of sense.
And imp passes, and I love that there's 5 outsiders.
We had to. That damn Fangu and Baron combo.
Yeah, makes me so happy.
Yeah, outsiders are probably the best part of Clocktower. Most people don't know that.
I agree. Outsiders are the best part of Clocktower.
It's what makes it different from other games where they're hidden roles and things.
I have a strange opinion that a lot of characters are info characters that other people don't feel are info characters. Like the Snake Charmer is an info character. Every time you pick somebody, you learn something, whether you change or not. But most people wouldn't think that that's an info character.
Snake Charmer is the old info character, is my argument, Brittany, because you find out who was the demon and also what the minions are, or who the minions are. It's the ultimate information role.
I agree. It's fantastic.
So I would say that I played in a couple games where the Snake Charmer's info was pretty pertinent, but they ended up being Fangu games. And so it ended up not being useful at all because it's like, oh, they weren't the demon then. So, all right, well, there you go. We know about the same amount as we knew before. I think the Snake Charmer is good info. My only issue with it, and there are people that hold the same opinion, are that it should be a every night asterisk roll, because I think that would make a lot of game. I say this as somebody who doesn't have a lot of discretionary time. Like when a game starts and you put all that momentum into it, it's like, and you've basically spent 30 minutes, getting geared up, and then it just like fizzles out on day one. That is not enjoyable for me, and I got to go on and go do the next thing.
I've had at conventions doing games or just in general doing games, people go, well, if we just kill the saint, it's cool. We'll just re-rack. And I'm like, no, hold on. And at that point, I typically do as a storyteller step in and say, I have taken about 10 minutes of time here to curate this game for you, to pick what roles have been in play, and for you to intentionally just go, if we screw it up right away off the bat, we'll just start over. That takes a lot of time and energy on my half. So please remember that I am actually playing in this game as well. And that normally stops that type of behavior. They're like, oh, I didn't realize that. And then they go, that's a good point. Let's actually try to win.
My group never went with the meta of like the hard Vortox check, but I am aware of other groups that did for that same reason. Like, oh, well, let's just don't kill anyone today and do a hard Vortox check and find out if it is one. We can always just re-rack.
That's not a fun way to play, and I am always on the path for fun.